So Ausar Thompson is ramping up for his return. Recently, they just noted that he is being sent down to the G League to get his reps, to get his legs under him, because likely when he gets back, they're going to need him a full go in that starting lineup. I want to dive into that in this video, but before I do, this video was brought to you by Bridges and Stones Family and Relationship Care. You know, mental health is becoming the new flex, right? Having the ability to communicate effectively with others, work through conflict, and building healthy relationships will take you a whole lot further than that new car. Get the support you need to get your relationship and life in order and start building the life you desire for yourself. Contact Bridges and Stones for your free consultation and talk with a trained professional to support you in attaining the tools you are needing. Remember, none of us make it alone. The link is in the description box below. So the question that comes to mind is, what can we actually expect from Ausar Thompson when he returns? And I think that one of the things that is a beautiful opportunity for us to kind of project what he's going to look like is actually looking at his twin over in Houston. Amen Thompson is having a hell of a go. He is transforming that roster. He is transforming that team. And if you look at his play, not just his defense, not just his playmaking, his finishing at the rim, his ability to get out in transition, and all these little things that he does with such great efficiency, I think the real core of it is his feel for the game. And both of the Thompson twins, when they came into the NBA as rookies, had incredible feel for the game. Despite their lack of shooting, each were able to come in and immediately make an impact because they naturally understood where to be. Where most young guys come into the NBA and they're just looking to get the ball. They want to get a shot up. They want to score. They want to prove that they are, the next Kobe, the next, great one. The Thompson twins, as much as they definitely want to score, let's not get that misconstrued. They want to get their shots. But they also know there's a whole lot of other factors that contribute to winning basketball games. They understand that they're playing 5-on-5 as a team. Many guys come in and they're just playing for themselves. They're looking to just get the ball and chuck it up at the rim. Because for the most part, they've been successful at doing that from each and every level. That's how they got to the NBA. Well, the Thompson twins are somewhat of an anomaly. They come in as few do, with an understanding of what it actually takes to win and all the different components. And so they're able to come in and plug in and immediately contribute, especially where there's an area of need. Whether it was last year need with help side rim protection, whether it was off the ball defense, getting into passing lanes, or getting into the rotations to reinforce the big man when they're having to hedge and help, and bumping a roll guy and then closing out on a shooter. Like all the little things that get overlooked, the box outs, the getting out in transition, making the hockey assists, these guys just do in spades. And so when we think about the impact that Ausar Thompson is going to have, I think we can look at what Amen Thompson is doing right now, which is what he was doing last year, just twofold. He's refined his ball handling to now he's not mishandling or, bobbling it a little bit. He's actually extremely precise in his movements, getting wherever he wants on the court. And because of his size and his athleticism, there really isn't much defenders can do. He's too tall. He's too strong. They're both about 220, 230 pounds at 6'7", with 38 or 41-inch verticals, whichever one. All right. And so what ends up happening is that they become mismatches out there, but they're kind of playing this Andre Iguodala type role where they're kind of a jack of all trades, but they also enjoy scoring. And I think that that's what we're going to see from Ausar Thompson. I think when he gets back, you're going to see a mixture of being a glue guy. I think at first, because he didn't have a full off season of working out in the way that Amen Thompson did, I don't think we're going to see as many 3-point attempts. He's going to shoot them, but I don't think we're going to see as many attempts. And I don't think that he's necessarily going to have his major impact in shooting. I think what we're going to see is his big impact is going to be with games with like 8 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block, right? Like those are the type of stat lines we're going to see from Ausar Thompson. But I think that there's going to be some specific areas that are really going to be a boost for this team outside of the stats. I think the stats are going to tell it a little bit, but it's going to be beyond that. One, I think being able to be a primary defender on the other team's best offensive player is going to alleviate a lot of pressure from Jaden Ivey. I think Jaden Ivey has held it down as the team's best defender, waiting on Ausar Thompson to return. He has truly held it down. He's been an elite two-way player, but I would have to say you can see that it weighs on him a little bit in terms of the amount of energy he's able to put out on the offensive end. And considering that they need him to be that secondary offensive engine, I think it's just about time he got some help on that defensive end. And Ausar Thompson's ability to guard the other team's best offensive option, especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter, is going to allow Jaden Ivey to get a little bit more rest on the defensive end so he can come down and be that much more effective and efficient on offense. I also think he's going to alleviate a lot of that pressure from Tobias Harris from being the best kind of forward perimeter defender, because that's really not who he is at 30 plus years old. All the mileage he has on his legs, right? You don't want him defending the primary scoring forward. You don't want him having to defend Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. You don't want to have him, defending Giannis and stuff like that. You want him to be able to play off the ball, play smart, be that secondary guy who knows where to be, who hedges well, who knows how to get that weak side rebound, and et cetera, et cetera. Not having to be your defensive stopper. And so he's going to alleviate a lot of defensive pressure from Harris and Ivey that I think is going to turn into more efficient play from both of them, especially for Tobias Harris's shooting. I think something that's also going to see is that we're going to see a big boost on the defense in terms of what Jalen Duren is able to do on the interior. I think what Tobias Harris has tried to do to help out with the rebounding and the rim protection, he can only do so much at his age. But I think with Ausar Thompson, we're going to see more containment on the perimeter, which is going to lead to less foul trouble from Jalen Duren, which is going to allow him to be able to defend the rim a lot better, while also being able to chase blocks, knowing that he's got Ausar and Tobias Harris and Cade Cunningham and Ivey to rebound behind him. Right now, he's kind of like that sole guy who holds it down on the defensive boards. And I think with Ausar back, it's going to really help him out in that regards as well. On the offensive end, I think we're going to see him get out there in transition. And I think that that's going to be a major plus for this team. If they can get out in transition to get easy shots, because I keep saying this is not a half-court offensive team. That's not going to be their strength. They've had really good shooting. They've had great shooting, if we're honest, in comparison to last season and in comparison to where the rest of the league is as well. But I think that that's beginning to taper off a little bit, and it shows. The moment it dips a little bit, this offense is going to struggle. And so what they're going to need is to be able to supplement that in other ways. And I think getting out in transition is going to be a huge opportunity for them. It's easy money, especially when you have Jaden Ivey and Ausar Thompson with their athleticism and size on the wings, running down court at full speed. There's hardly anybody who can stay in front of them, let alone contest them at the rim. Now, the last part that I think is going to help with this team is just overall depth. They really don't have anybody on the wing who can defend, who can get out in transition, who can do anything dynamic on that side. I know they have Jaden Ivey, but he's a guard. He's on the perimeter, but he's not on the wings, right? These are your, playing that 2, 3, 4 position, right? That Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum type of a guy at 6'7", 6'8". You have the teams like the Orlando Magic with Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero and, I already aforementioned Boston Celtics, right? You have these guys, the Jalen Williams from OKC, who can score on the perimeter. Now you got Paul George in the East, right? You need those wings who can be dynamic and make some plays, get to the rim, use their athleticism to draw defenders to them, to get to the free throw line, to make that extra play. And I think he's going to help out that a little bit later as he really gets his rhythm back. But I think just when he first comes back, probably in another couple of weeks, it may not even be that long because he's one of those young guys who just loves to work and loves to improve. When he does return, expect him to be that glue guy. Expect him to be the one who alleviates a lot of the pressure, especially defensively, from this team. And I think it's going to help them all the more. I think the Pistons are going to maintain this pace of a right below 500 team. I still see them as a 30-plus win team by the end of the season. I do think they're going to make some trades coming up probably in the next month before the deadline. One that I've thrown out there, I have thrown this out there, Tim Hardaway Jr. for, what's his name? Dorian Finney-Smith from the Brooklyn Nets. I think that would be a great trade. They need a guard with shooting, and the Detroit Pistons need a two-way forward. I don't think Bobby Clinton is going to be ready anytime soon to be able to contribute. He's probably going to be long-standing down in the G League, and I think it would help them to have a more versatile forward outside of Fontecchio. He's not going to shoot as well as Fontecchio, but he can defend a whole lot better, and it's going to give them some more versatility in terms of how they can play defensively moving forward. But as always, I want to know what you all think. What do you think of Ausar Thompson's return? What are you excited about? Get at me in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share the video in your group chat, and get at me in the comments, and I'll get at y'all there. Peace.